debate over diversity and equity has been very heated recently, as you know, and you talked about it during your campaign, about visiting neighborhoods and realizing that they were at a crucial point. You talked about that. You also said that the next mayor would have to lead in this area, and you promised, as the only citywide official, to move that conversation forward. Last week, you released a statement saying that you intend to be a partner in the effort, and also that Superintendent Collins was making good on her commitment to release a plan. So, your statement sounds like an endorsement of a contract extension for the superintendent. Is it?
That was not the intention of that statement. No, I mean, I had a series of statements. There was one the prior week which welcomed Superintendent Collins. Her statement, which was her apology on actions around diversity in the schools and addressing racism in the schools, my statement last week was she made a very clear commitment. The next step was she was within a week going to come out with a plan, and she did, and that was the point of my statement last week. Was I thought that was an important next step. She said she was going to do it, and she had. And it's obviously a tense and a difficult time.
But you didn't mean for it to be interpreted as a support for her ongoing? Because I mean that's obviously the context in which this is occurring.
Yeah. Here's what I thought was important to say is, and what does still feel clear to me, and we're still in the middle of it as we have this interview. You know, when will this be live right away?
Week. No, next week. Next week.
You know, so you know we're in this period where I think the public's still reacting to the plan that's come out. What I'm hopeful about the plan is that it represents a potential way forward where perhaps people within the Diversity Now organization or other members of the minority community, I think the question's now been put to them in a sense. Does this plan, which in many ways I think echoes things that have been called for by organized groups and the community more broadly, is this a platform from which we could move forward to address racism in the schools? And it strikes me as someone who has not been intimately involved in the debate as something of a new party to this, and I have been careful, and I'm going to continue to be careful while finding my right role here. I'm very conscious that I'm kind of new to the discussion, but as someone new to the discussion, it strikes me Jeannie has taken a couple steps now to try to repair the community here and offer a way forward. And I'm hopeful that this does offer, it's certainly by no means the end of the story, but a way forward that could perhaps be, the way we judge progress on this issue in the community over the next, year at least.
Now, but given what you said during the campaign, what specifically can you do as mayor to lead on race and equity, as you said, to move the conversation forward? You know, if it's not to take a position on Jeannie, then what specifically do you mean that to imply? What is this leadership role?
Well, I do think people are looking to me to make some statements, as you've noted, as we've just been discussing here. I think this is, I do feel, in part because of what I said during the campaign, and because of I don't feel like I could be quiet or completely inactive on this issue, and I will tell you, so I do feel responsibility as events. This is not, this has not been, I think it is appropriate for people to look to me to have some statement on the plan, and I have been having that, and I've shared with you as well some further thoughts here. I will say that is not the limit, without getting into the details of the work that I've been doing on this issue in these sensitive weeks. And I think I'd like to leave it at that for now, and I just out of sensitivity for the moment we're at here.
A number of public officials, including yourself, have endorsed the basing of the F-35s at the airport. You've been an airport commissioner, you're familiar with the ongoing issues, the noise issues and stuff. And your statement says that the balance, and we talked about this, the balance won't significantly change, and you link this to your your support for the planes with the benefit specifically of the Air Guard.
The idea with the F-35 is that they will be phasing out over time the F-16s, is my understanding. I have seen some suggestion, which I will admit, I don't fully understand, and I'd certainly be open to new information there. I think I've seen Roseanne Greco and others suggest that, maybe maybe there will be an additional generation of F-16s that, or at least parts of F-16s that could replace these. Certainly, the Air Force has made, the National Guard, in conversations that I've had with them, has suggested real uncertainty about whether...
They have.
Yes.
They've said, they've given you the impression that if the plane isn't based here, that there would be an impact.
I believe in, I think they were asked this directly when a number of them came and spoke to the Burlington City Council and a few weeks ago. And my memory of what they said is basically they could not with any certainty say what would happen to the current F-16s. They recited the stats I just gave you,
right.
And they said, and I certainly believe maybe somewhere within the military someone knows what the answer is, but I certainly believe the local people have said they don't know what will happen if there is no F-35 introduced.
As far as you know, any downside of having the F-35s here?
It does seem that there is a general consensus that kind of in an apples-to-apples comparison, there is some additional noise impact of having the F-35s here.
Aside from that?
I take seriously, having kind of gotten a briefing on this, and I think there's no argument against this. I think the Guard, the way they operate the F-16s, they do a number of things, details involving the kind of way in which the pitch, the way in which they operate their afterburners, the pitch which they take off and land that minimizes the sound impact. And I believe them when they say that they would do that with the F-35 in a way that may well mean that the actual sound impacts is different than the contours that have been kind of generated by the contours there.
What is your favorite word?
What's my favorite word? Gosh. All right, I'm really...
Just associate, free association.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite word?
Vermont.
All right. What is your least favorite word?
Regret.
Ah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
This is supposed to be in a word, or this is
a word or a phrase. It's
creative, spiritually,
or emotionally. Either. What turns you on?
Being in the outdoors, being engaged in challenging, fast-paced decisions.
Wow. What turns you off?
Indecision, paralysis, regret to go over.
What sound or noise do you love?
What sound of noise?
Or a noise do you love?
Gosh. The rain on the roof in the summer.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Tearing of styrofoam.
What profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt?
Well, maybe it's an easy one, but I did want to be a baseball player in a previous life.
Sure. What profession would you not like to do?
I would want to be a banker.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You worked hard, you get everything you had, you didn't leave anything on the field.